Success in IELTS obviously depends on how well you can use English, show the examiner your skills in speaking, writing, and of course listening and reading to show your understanding. However, if you want to improve in IELTS, then you need to prepare. And preparing for IELTS relies on strategies. It's possible to spend hours and hours preparing for IELTS, but not make any progress because you're preparing in the wrong way. So let's just look at a few tips on preparation strategies for IELTS. And to do this, I'd like to introduce you to a book that I've found about learning strategies. It's called Learn Like a Pro: Science-Based Tools to Become Better at Anything. And here it is. There are quite a few books on learning skills. Here's why I like this one. Firstly, it's easy to read. Secondly, it's got lots of fun illustrations that help you understand the concepts and ideas in it. The third reason is it's nice and short. It's only 124 pages, so you can get through it in just a day or two. And lastly, the book is very practical. It gives you things that you can actually do, rather than just talk about the theory of learning. And to convince you a little bit more, here is the quotation on the front cover from Daniel Pink, a famous author. He says, "Jam-packed with practical, evidence-based ideas." There are 11 chapters in the book, and each chapter contains ideas that you can use as an IELTS student. In this video, I'd like to go through some of the key points that I took out of it, and keep watching to make sure that you get an idea for what this book is about, and then maybe you can pick it up. In the description, I've put a link. If you are new to this channel, thank you so much for clicking. My name's David Bourne. I am your IELTS coach at IELTS Breakthrough. IELTS Breakthrough is a YouTube channel that helps you get a high score in IELTS so that you can study at an international university and progress in your career. Please make sure that you like and subscribe to the channel. I'll go through 9 takeaways that I've highlighted in this book then. Number 1 is very simple, and you've probably heard of this one before. It's the Pomodoro technique. In this book, they talk about spending 25 minutes on focused work and then taking 5 minutes break. When you do your focus, you need to clear distractions, keep your mobile phone away, and all of those kind of things. I think 25 minutes is a good time choice. It's not too short and not too long either. Point number 2 is that the authors say that the best learning occurs when you challenge yourself. That is, when you try to learn things that are a little bit difficult, a little bit above your level, if you like. So when we're talking about IELTS preparation, spend a bit of time not just revising and reviewing stuff that you already know, but push yourself to learn more difficult vocabulary, read or listen to higher level texts. Takeaway number 3 is to mix up your learning. The technical term is interleaving, and all it means is that mixing up the topics and the tasks that you do in one learning session. So, for example, instead of spending a whole hour or 2 hours focusing on how to answer one kind of reading question like true, false, not given, you need to do a few different things in your study session. So you might start and you might spend your first Pomodoro on true, false, not given, but then you're going to change and move maybe to try and do some writing practice or perfect your ability to use a certain grammatical structure. Now, takeaway number 4 is quite a nice one. This is where you can exploit the diffuse mode. The diffuse mode is kind of the mode where your brain makes sense of the specific focused learning that you are doing. So the good news here is that actually by taking a break, having a shower, going for a walk, riding your bicycle, or perhaps just having a joke with your friends is a good thing to do. It allows your brain to subconsciously process the specific information that you are learning. So this way you can see that having breaks and doing a bit of fun can actually be a productive thing to do, as long as you don't spend too much time on it. There is also a chapter on memory strategies. As an IELTS preparation student, then it is useful to use memory strategies. Of course, you need to remember vocabulary that you can apply in your speaking and writing. In addition to that, it's also worth applying memory strategies to IELTS answering strategies. For example, to remember the essay framework for task 2 is a good idea. To remember the strategies for part 1, part 2 and part 3 in the speaking is also a good thing to improve your performance. Now, the book goes through some typical memory techniques that you can use. For example, creating vivid images of what you're trying to remember, using the memory palace technique, making sentences of the items that you need to remember. And an example here is the one I have for vocabulary growth. The vocabulary growth system that I talk about is Eric can't understand Russian. If you remember that sentence, then you can remember the system of expose, capture, understand, remember, and use. Eric can't understand Russian. That's just an example for you. And then another one, the book also talks about using metaphors to remember things. It's a great chapter, well worth a read. Takeaway number 6 is that the book describes what explorative and declarative systems are in learning. Now, that sounds technical, but basically what it means is putting in the repetitions, putting in your reps. Now, if you understand how useful repetition is, then it gives you that much more motivation to actually do it. Takeaway number 7 is that the book has some great advice on how to cope with the resistance to do IELTS preparation. Let's face it, we have more exciting things to do than prepare for our IELTS test, and it's very easy to procrastinate. And of course, people who do not get the best result are probably also the people who were a bit lazy about their IELTS preparation. So it's always worth having some ideas about how you can deal with the natural resistance to do your IELTS preparation. This book has some good ideas. Number 8 is to practice with old tests. And I talk about this in a lot of my videos, where one of the keys to success in IELTS is to make sure that you have done some previous IELTS tests. And yes, if you can afford it, I do recommend that you get one of the books from Cambridge University Press, where they publish past IELTS tests as a source for doing real authentic practice. They are a bit expensive, but they are worth it, especially if you can get the result you want the first time around. Now, the last takeaway is to become a pro learner through self-reflection. And this is a good strategy because it helps you analyze if you are actually doing your preparation effectively or if you are just basically wasting your time. Now, the book has some really good self-reflection questions and questionnaires that you can do. And it's worth the money for the book just to go through those questions and analyze how successful your preparation is. So that is Learn Like a Pro. As I record this video, we're still in early 2026, and you might well be starting your goal of getting a high IELTS score. A good place to start is just to spend a day or two going through this book. And there is an Amazon link in the description for you to go and get it. As well as showing you the strategies to learn effectively and use your time in the best way, it will also help you understand the learning process. And when you understand the learning process, you get more confidence in what you're doing and confidence that you can actually improve your skills and get your target IELTS score. So let me know in the comments, have you got this book? What did you think of it? Do you have any special learning strategies that you think can really help people prepare for IELTS? In the meantime, thank you so much for watching this far, and I'll see you in the next video.